Wait, Dave is a fan of the Reloaded and Revelations?
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, those movies did not need to be made.
Wachowski should have done something else.
The Animatrix was kind of cool.
I heard good things about that. Yeah,
I've only watched bits and pieces of that, but from what I saw, it was pretty cool. But yeah, 2 and 3 were just like,
why? Has some freaking cool action though. I've seen some of the action sequences.
yeah.
This is
The
pretty
problem
cool.
is the problem is
Is there a tissue box in here?
John Providence put it best. Everything in the Matrix 2 and 3 looks like a PlayStation 2 game. Like all the action scenes and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
Proprietary.
you know.
you know, it's just
Wow.
it's just not good. Whereas the first Matrix had a lot, I think, a lot less like. Well, they tried to do more practical effects in the first Matrix.
Well, it's kind of hard to bring
There
new
wasn't-
concepts to an already new concept. You know,
Yeah, there
otherwise,
wasn't a blatant. There wasn't just blatant overuse of CGI. I think basically what happened was by the time Matrix 2 and 3 rolled up, is technology had improved to a degree where it was more feasible to use more CGI for stuff. And so the Wachowskis are like, yeah, let's just use it. But, given that, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. Yeah, Matrix 1 looks as great as it does because, they kind of had to use the practical effects where they did and not go ham with the CGI just because in 1999 CGI technology wasn't that great.
yeah.
But fast forward a few years later to the early 2000s, there's a big improvement in technology, and with that comes the temptation to overuse it.
Do everything.
Yeah. Matrix 2 and 3, there are some cool sequences in Matrix 2 and 3, but a lot of the CGI sequences in those movies, it's just they look really dated.
In 3, the flying, what are they called?
The
Sentinels?
Yeah, the Sentinels and the swarms, how they do it and how they come out, and they they make them fly, but they also make them kind of walk around like spiders and stuff.
yeah.
It makes me think of almost like, I mean, I think it came out later, but like Doc Ock.
Mhm.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
if
There'd be Spider-Man, and all that.
I thought it came out around the
that
same
movement, I'm trying to.
time. Oh
I don't
no,
know
04.
exactly,
Yeah, you're right.
but someone got
better at it.
inspired by whoever it was, and that just that natural movement. They did that great, but there's definitely an overuse, and the plot is kind of lame.
Yeah. They're just like way too many unnecessary layers.
Yeah,
And like characters who like
overuse of characters.
with characters is just like you don't really even know who they are or what they're supposed to be, and the story presents as important for some reason. Like the Merovingian, the Frenchman in the second one.
Yeah.
It's like he's so like important, but it's like, who the heck is this guy? He's some French dude in a fancy in a fancy club.
Yeah.
And it's like he's got a weird name. He's called the Merovingian.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to set it up for spin-offs. Like we're intentionally setting this up so we could do a spin-off of it. It's like, I don't know if that was necessarily their idea behind it, but it's kind of like nowadays, it's like, which I feel like if you're going to do that, it's better to like make the movie and then see what the audience gravitates to, and then do a spin-off of whoever the audience kind of gravitates to, like Boba Fett or whatever. Everybody always like, oh, Boba Fett's so cool. It's like he's this guy you hardly see in there. But then it's like, it took him forever to make a spin-off of that. I was like, that would have been like a so easy.
Boba Fett originally was a
Fett?
spin-off character.
Yeah.
Did you like the season?
It was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't that good. I expected a lot more of it just because he was kind of such an iconic thing, and then everybody had so much love for him.
Yeah.
So I thought it was okay.
I think they made him a little bit too human.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone who wears a helmet, when you make them too human, they lose that phantasmic imagine, like you lose the. They're telling you too much again.
Yeah.
You can't use your
you lose
imagination that they're
sort
badass.
of mystery.
Yeah, it should have been more like Mandalorian or something like that, you know?
The
I
first
also
season,
don't
for sure.
like.
Yeah, the first season, yeah.
I don't like that they doubled down on him being played by that New Zealand guy.
I didn't have as much of an issue because
Again, if he's mysterious, it doesn't really
if
matter
he'd
per
stayed
se.
mysterious,
Yeah.
would have been fine.
And
Yeah.
that's another thing that bugged me about George Lucas tampering with his films. They replaced Boba Fett's dialogue with recordings.
with his
Yeah,
with his.
Yeah.
They not the
Yeah.
original voice actor. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's not okay.
He wants it to rhyme.
That's
you know?
not
Now the
Right.
only remnants of
face.
the original Boba Fett actor that exist in the movies now is just the one scene in Empire where Leia's being dragged away as Luke comes to Cloud City. That officer who's dragging her away is actually the actor who plays Boba Fett. So like they erased his voice, and so now all you have of him is basically that one scene where you see his face.
Yeah, I think it's
Pretty
kind of lame
much.
going back and
Interesting.
changing movies to make it match. It's like, it's kind of part of the mystery. If I mean, I understand, I guess,
Yeah.
the cohesion part of it. But it's like,
it makes sense if it didn't become a hit.
yeah.
If it's a hit, why would you mess with it?
Yeah.
So, I guess if you want to resolve something that didn't do well, and then maybe say, "Oh, okay, this is more true to what I actually thought." You know, give it a second chance.
But I mean, this is all expected because George Lucas has a long history
Perfectionist.
of making Boba Fett terrible when he should have been cool.
Fair.
Because like Boba Fett was originally appeared in the Star Wars Holiday Special in a cartoon sequence. So there's a section in the Star Wars Holiday Special
watch that.
where Chewbacca's demon
this?
family.
No, I don't want to watch
I watched it.
it.
Yeah,
I watched
think
parts of it. I
80
watched
was
Chris
one,
Tucker
so-
Yeah,
videos, and I'm
yeah.
like, I don't.
Where his demon family sits down to watch a cartoon.
It's amazing, but it's
And it's like
cringy,
this,
Yeah.
cringy,
it's like
but
this
it's amazing.
cartoon sequence of like the Luke and Leia and Han running away from bounty hunters on a planet, and the bounty hunter is Boba Fett.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's his first appearance as a character, and so I don't know if George Lucas was intending on him being an Empire or not, but it just kind of like he was. I don't think he was intended to be as beloved as he was. Yeah, I think he was always intended to just be a minor character, but people latched onto him as like, he's such a cool character. And then, you have this attempt to, he kind of joins the battle in Return of the Jedi,
Yep.
but then he like,
falls on
goes
his
out in
back.
such a comical way.
He's such a
Yeah.
wuss.
And then you have him brought back again, but then he's played by a guy from New Zealand.
Shaka.
You know who I have a
Kalaman.
bigger issue with? Who was brought back? Darth Maul.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, it was
like,
really
he
a
was
silly
cut in half.
choice.
How are you
Yeah.
gonna bring him back?
Yeah, what did they say?
Yeah.
He
Force healed.
He fell down in the trash can and merged himself with
Well, he was-
the
didn't he
metal
grab, like, a
pieces
latch
and
or something?
Yeah,
and
it's like-
the dark side basically
the
kept
ledge.
him alive or something.
Yeah, it's like his
I-
hate was
I
so
think
strong.
that-
yeah, his hate kept him alive.
Well, I
Poor
think the
Kenobi.
idea was that he was like, in the extended universe, it talks about. I'm like an extended universe nerd, by the
I
way.
am too.
in the multiverse
I am
of Star
too.
Wars.
So
Nothing wrong with
the
that.
disclaimer. But in the extended universe, there's a lot of about how lightsabers
Yeah.
like instantaneously cauterize
Cauterize, yep.
wounds.
Which would be more realistic.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
that
they're
would
like
be, yeah.
super heated,
Yeah.
and the blade is like it's contained in just this like
Tiny, small.
tiny small space. So it's like any wound that it
Yep.
so the
It's super
idea
heated.
is that any wound that it creates is
Cauterizes.
instantaneously cauterized.
Yeah.
So all of Darth Maul being cut in half,
Yeah.
all of his internal organs didn't like spill out the bottom because the cauterization kept them all in place.
Which makes more sense. Yeah.
So and then it's being at the bottom of the trash heap. His hatred just sort of kept him alive until he was
It
able to get
fuels
robot
his
legs.
powers.
You know,
Until the garbage man came by and took out the trash. It's, oh, there's a body in
I
here.
think if you have an issue with Palpatine coming back to life, you should have an issue with Darth Maul coming back to life.
I
could
mean,
agree with-
I
could be on
have
that,
an issue
yeah.
with all of them coming back to life.
Which you have
Once you're
more
dead,
of an
you're
issue
dead.
with. Because
I-
Palpatine is obviously stronger, obviously more powerful in the Force. Obviously.
You know what helped?
What do you mean?
No. I'm recreating
lightning
him falling.
hands.
That's
Okay,
what I meant.
okay. I thought you
You
said
know what
disagreed.
helped Darth Maul and Palpatine though? The guy mopping the floors at the bottom of the robot.
He's the real
Robot
hero.
chicken
A
guy.
real-
He's like, I gotta get another job.
I gotta watch that again. That's
Oh man.
All right, so
Yeah.
Oh,
speaking
man.
of
We're going.
characters from the Kowskis and them bringing in side characters that don't really matter, sounds like a lot of later Michael Bay stuff to me. And you know what also sounds like, unlike Michael Bay, the Wachowskis have done, is make really silly CGI that just doesn't look good, which is, I say, the opposite of Michael Bay. And speaking of Michael Bay, you know what else reminds me of Michael Bay? The Rock.
The Rock.
Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne the Rock.
The Rock. All right, gentlemen. So The Rock.